Thanks for having me. I'm Michal from Košice, and for about last 30 years, I've been working on AI. When I started about 25 years ago, I wanted AI to be just useful for people, right? And I've been lucky enough that in the last 5 years, I could contribute to training models like Gemini or Llama in some of the labs. So my first, when I started, maybe 28 years ago, I thought I would like to have AI that we don't need to spend much time training before it becomes useful, right? You should just it should kind of learn by itself to be useful. However, it's oftentimes that current recipes that, and it has been for a long time because, AI been around from 1950s, right? I studied it at school. My mother did AI in 1976. It's not new. But the recipe that made it work somehow that we have immense data that we label, that is also very expensive, and we have a lot of computational costs to have them. But this is not how human works, right? Even it is not how a human learns. When the kid sees the mother, it doesn't need to say, "This is your mother, this is your mother, this is your mother," and then it extrapolates. Somehow, it's enough. Sometimes you see the face, right? But this is the input for our AI methods. These are some pixels, and how it actually decide that there is some kind of underlying world under it, right? And so their I've been in my research in 25 years, I was betting on two technologies or two maybe even approaches. And one is this self-supervised learning, somehow predicting what you already know, because this way you somehow get these labels data somehow for free. And second is game theory, how we play with each other. And by that time, we kind of learn how to represent the world. For example, when I do something like this, right? I may think that, this clicker fell down because of gravity, or I maybe think the god blew up, but actually it doesn't really matter. It can have a wrong model of the world, but if this model helps me to plan, it makes my life better. And so I've been fortunate enough to train, first, the set of 7, 8 models in DeepMind. So you maybe heard of Gemini, but before Gemini, there were many other models. There was Spawn, there was Sparrow, there was T5X. There's many that we didn't release. And of course, maybe you heard about Llama. That's now being trained in the 4th level, and there will be some previews. And I would like to describe how actually I brought game theory to those models to get it to the point of ChatGPT. Maybe you heard the recent release of Gemini, which is internally called 3.1, sorry, and externally 2.5 for some marketing reason. And how actually we brought game theory into the play. Because why is this game theory kind of useful? Maybe the first discoveries that hit the news were things like AlphaGo. And this is when you try to play each other. It's kind of very important that if you play chess, you actually play with somebody that's kind of similar to you. If I want to learn tennis and I will hire Rafael Nadal, whatever I do, I will lose. Actually, will not learn anything. Or if I play my 1-year-old sister kid, I will also win and also not learn anything. So it's kind of important that I play with somebody that is kind of on my level. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose, and I get a signal. And so the problem was how to actually bring those things to large language models, and get to them to even be able that they're open source level. By the time that we release them, they're actually beating the most powerful external model yet. And so right now, or until recently, there was this kind of recipe for the models. So it's like a cooking recipe. At the first, we read the models, read all internet, and we'll ask them to predict next world. But internet is not the best place. They're not always the smartest things on the internet. So then we have them explore maybe some paid better informations, but we also make sure that these models are conversational. Because at the beginning, when you read it, all internet, it can just complete the world. We start them, we prompt them, and it just follows the sentence. It's just blah, blah, blah. But I would like the model to follow instruction. So in second place, we make them follow instruction. If I said, well, give me 3 words that, I want that the 3 words happen. But then it's still solo internet, so, and real internet is, sexist, racist, and shouts random things. And so then it's the last phase that I spend the most time was how do you actually make sure that it aligns to preferences? And oftentimes, and all labs are similar, spend 100 millions of euros to actually get to that point, right? Like there's companies called Scale, Search, Kili, Turing, Merkur, Snorkel, millions of them, and where you pay people to, between those 2 preferences, maybe through the outputs of the model, so for one prompt we have 2 potential outputs, find one that's better than the other. And this could be very expensive. And then at the end, you find one model, you find, for Gemini 2.5, that's better than GPT-4o. But if you compare to some other model, we don't even know. And the thing is that when I came to that, I said, well, I don't want just one model to be better than one other model. I would like to have one model to be better than all of them. And so this led to this idea of a self-play that I want to get to the level of playing with better and better players, and players are just another models that at the end you cannot beat the best one. So how to get to that part? And this actually was a story that took actually 10 years of research. I started 10 years ago actually with some open problem and how to actually solve these imperfect information games. And the thing is that things like chess or AlphaGo, we actually know how to solve because we know how to build the trees. So this is potential tree in a Go. And the trees, let's say we have Anne plans with Tom, and it's like Anne plays, Tom plays, Anne plans, Tom plays, and then at the end we see who wins. Well, the thing is that when we come to the large language models, when the potential number of tokens, potential number of words in every phase is like, we started with 40,000, and now Gemini 3 will be 220,000, the trees are huge. And so it doesn't even fit the memory. The tree doesn't fit the memory. But the thing is, like, the only thing that actually scales these days is gradient descent and batch learning. But we didn't know how to actually make those optimal algorithms with just a simple method of gradient descent, finding the minimum, like a skiing on a hill. We knew only how to draw trees, but trees don't fit in the memory. So what to do? And so that was like the open problem that I can explain you over the break. And took me 10 years with big team to actually solve it. And we solved it in 2022, get Best Paper Award, and this is what ended up in Gemini, and this was also like brought later to Meta. So let me just describe you like a tiny bit how to solve. These are some results at the end, and this was also, I need to say, like, the team was big. These are people, my students, my postdocs, people I hired for DeepMind, people I took from DeepMind to Meta, and people that I took to my startup right now. How do we solve it? So the problem that we solved, we started with the models that are exactly the same. Then we tried to play with each other by some randomness. We found one that is better than the other. So it's similar to like when Nash formed criteria. You find one model that is with the other. So let's say each of one, I give you one prompt. Either one tells me what you think. I pick the best one, and then I replace the other people that were not so good with a better version of this one. And then I repeat, I get another prompt, I sample another prompt, I ask everybody who wins. Let's say somebody wins. I think people that didn't have well, I replace them with better versions of new ones. And I do it until completions. And there's lots of engineering tricks, but I only have 35 seconds. So if you'd like to learn more, let's talk about over coffee or beer. Thank you very much.